Yeah, what is up everyone? You know, you still me, man, Mario Fan 520, and welcome back to Horror Movie Month. So yeah, today I'm going to be talking about Carrie, one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations of all time. And I hope you guys really do enjoy it. So, Carrie was directed by Brian De Palma, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And I think this is probably one of Stephen King's earliest books that he ever wrote. I think I heard it was the first book he wrote. I don't know if that's true, but I think I heard that. And Carrie basically tells the story of this innocent teenager. She's basically going through a lot of trouble in her life. She's being tortured at her school. She's being bullied a lot after she gets her first period. She gets bullied by her peers and stuff like that, and she gets tortured by her extremely religious mother at home and stuff like that. And basically one day she's invited to a prom night and by two people who are trying to help her, but basically stuff don't go how it plans, how they planned it to be. Stuff don't go how it plans it to be, and it turns the prom night into a night of terror for the people who are celebrating. So, and then basically Carrie gets back at her peers who did these horrible pranks and stuff like that were against her and stuff like that. This movie is absolutely fantastic. To me, this, I don't know if I could consider this a horror film, but it is in the horror genre. It's not really scary. It's more entertaining and it's watchable. It's extremely watchable, actually. It's very interesting to see the character of Carrie. She's a very innocent and kind-hearted girl. Yes, everyone in their life has been bullied at least once. Everyone. Even I've been bullied. I'm gonna be honest. Yes, I have been bullied. Everyone has been bullied before. And stuff like that. Sissy Spacek has done a great performance. I love her character in this movie as Carrie. Her mother was actually very creepy too. That's probably the scariest part of this movie. Her mother is extremely religious. She doesn't want anything to happen to her daughter. Apart from the fact that she tried to kill her in the ending of the movie. She nearly killed her by stabbing her with a kitchen knife. When she was praying too to Carrie, when they were both praying and stuff like that. And there's a scary part in this film where Carrie's mother takes Carrie to her closet to pray, right? And all of a sudden, all out of nowhere, this scary Jesus Christ statue comes out of nowhere. And I was like, what the frick is that? That's scary. And just like the glowing eyes and stuff like that. I was like, no. But yeah, there are some things in this movie that actually are scary, but the suspense is pretty good. It keeps a little wild. The thing that I like about this movie is it takes its time to tell a story before it gets to the actual horror and suspense, because Carrie is a girl that has because when it comes to the character of Carrie, she's a woman that has a teenager that has psychic powers. Well, not psychic, but telekinesis. She can harm her enemies by using telekinesis, and that's how she gets back at all of her peers that were bullying her and stuff like that. And you can tell when she's starting to go crazier and crazier and crazier every time she uses these powers and stuff like that. But she doesn't really want to do it on purpose. Until it gets to a limit where in the prom night scene where the pig blood is spilled on her and stuff like that. And she thinks people are laughing at her and the entire audience. And then that's when stuff get real. I did like the camera quality in this movie. For a late 70s movie, the camera quality is actually pretty astonishing. I did like the camera quality. I did like the directing. I liked how the director was going with this film and how you could see these characters, and not just Carrie and her mother, but all these other characters and the principals and the other characters like Billy, I think, Billy Noam, Sue, I think that's what her name is. I forgot her name. Something like that. Chris, that woman, that crazy teenager that's against Carrie, and all these other teenagers and stuff like that. And I love the coach. The coach is amazing. Yeah, the coach is amazing. But yeah, the characters in this movie are actually surprisingly interesting. If you watch this movie, you'll notice that there's barely a character that's actually boring. Like, I found every single character in this movie surprisingly good. Like, every single character in this movie did what they had to do. And that's what I liked about the movies. The movie didn't give you one single character that made you be like, ugh. This character is boring. Why do I have to sit here and watch this character? Why can't we just watch The Simpsons on a Saturday night? But when I first heard about this movie, it wasn't really a movie that I was going to watch, but I ran into it one time and I watched it with my mom. It was phenomenal. I absolutely love this movie. And these are one of the movies that got me into Stephen King, along as other movies like The Shining and It and Pet Sematary. Those are one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations, along as another one called Misery. And this one's another one of my favorites too. I love Stephen King. I really do. I haven't read any of his books yet. But I will read some of his books, but I love Stephen King. I love his adaptations and stuff like that, and they're very great. They're very great. And I hope he does make more in the future, because more books sometimes comes more movies. But this isn't like any of those slasher horror films that you would see. Carrie is more of a... When I think of Carrie as a horror film, I would think of it as more of a psychological horror film, maybe. Because there's less suspense happening, and it focuses on more of Carrie's life. It focuses on her life of torture, and this is more of a revenge film. It's not just like a straight up, oh, I want to kill everyone, I want to kill everyone. You don't see that through the entire movie. It takes its time to do that. This is a straight up, my life is terrible, I feel like I want to die, and then I want to get against my friend. I want to get against my peers who were being rude to me and stuff like that. This is more of a revenge film. It takes time to see Carrie's character develop more into this madness teenager until she actually gets against her peers. And that's the point where she gets revenge. But that doesn't happen until nearly the ending of the film, somewhere near the ending. Other than that, there are actually some scenes where she's using her psychic powers, but they're not really suspense. But it is very interesting to look at. I'm not going to say that even though this movie doesn't have like a lot of suspense through the entire movie, it is definitely a horror movie worth watching. If you haven't seen this, definitely watch it. I highly recommend it. Carrie is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. But yeah, even though it didn't get boring, the characters weren't boring, the plot wasn't even boring either. The plot was so amazing. It was so well done. Even for a Stephen King adaptation. The plot actually had me entertained. I actually sit down on my couch. I didn't get up once. I sat down through like maybe an hour and 40-minute movie watching this entire thing while seeing Carrie's character developing more, and while she's trying to connect with her peers, but she can't apparently because she keeps on getting thrown out and stuff like that, and her mother, her religious mother and stuff like that. The movie and the plot and the characters was very interesting. It's a very extremely entertaining movie, one of the greatest. I think it won 7.4 on IMDb and 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, so that's pretty impressive. But you know, some of these teenagers in these names, I actually do forget their names sometimes. The only one I can remember is Carrie, because she's like literally the most important character in this entire film. But I do remember Tommy Ross. He was a very great guy. He was a very nice guy. He tried to take Carrie to the prom night. He looked like a troublemaker, but he was actually very innocent, and he was actually very charming character. And it's actually kind of sad how he died, which I'm not going to spoil how he died. You guys are going to have to watch the movie for yourself, but I'm not going to spoil how he died. It's just sad how he died and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah. Some of the other teenagers are good. I forgot her name. Susie, I think? Yeah, she's good too. She's a great character in this movie. I forgot who played her, but yeah, she's a great character. All these other a-hole teenagers, the actresses are good, but their characters are just downright rotten. But the actresses are top-notch. I was surprised by everyone's performances in this movie. Carrie is definitely, if you haven't seen Carrie, I highly recommend to everyone who's watching this video. Carrie is a must-see psychological horror film. Definitely one of my favorite horror films and one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. One of my favorite horror films of all time. And I'm gonna give Carrie an A. So guys, thank you for watching me do my movie review with Carrie. Stephen King's Carrie. It was so fun watching this movie and doing a movie review of it. Tomorrow I'm planning on doing a movie review of Jaws, and then I might do a movie review of Misery. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for more horror movie reviews on horror movie month and stuff like that. I'm so excited to do more horror movie reviews. I'm so excited to talk about great horror movies good horror movies, decent horror movies, and you know we got the bad in horror movies and stuff like that. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about more horror movies and some of that are coming out. Definitely stay tuned. I love all of you guys. You guys have shown me support. Very great. Thank you guys for tuning in to my Super Mario Brothers shows, by the way. And thank you guys for tuning into my movie reviews and my gaming videos and all my content that I put on my channel. But anyway, you guys rock. And as always, I am Mario Fan 520, and I will see you next time. Peace out.